Thank you. Thank you very much for all your beer donations. And of course for all your comments under the videos in regards to my problems with the solar panels on my roof. Yeah, so far I have received almost 500 comments on these 3 videos now, and I haven't even read all of them yet. But some of them are really good and they gave me something to think about. The MC4 connectors could be a problem, but I don't think they are. I tested all the cables that they are firm inside the MC4 connectors, so I don't think this is a problem actually. People have said they had issues with MC4 connectors, especially if you have different type of MC4 connectors. They don't play nicely together. I don't know, I don't have the experience with that. So far they all work just fine, so I don't see a problem with the MC4 connectors. As you know, I have picked up some more panels. Some of them are the Suntech brand as well, which we have on the roof, which are causing our trouble at the moment. And I tried to open one of the connection boxes on the back of these panels last night, and I was unsuccessful. It seems like they are glued together or something, and I broke all the little plastic clips around it already, but the lid wouldn't come up. So, well, I gave up with all this stuff. And last night I said, well, we need to get into this box and see what's going on and measure. Well, what can I say? Some tools, some force, and we are inside the box here of one of the Suntech panels now. Okay, let me have breakfast first. Well, that's what you do, you know, you always come into the garage and say good morning to your battery and see if the inverter runs and the MPPT is running and how much power comes from each side of the roof, you know? And then you think about yourself and breakfast. So let's have breakfast first and then I explain what's going on with this panel here. It is super interesting. Even there are videos and blogs out there where people are explaining how to measure, how to test solar panels correctly. And they're always referring to the no load or to the open circuit voltage and also to the short current. But as a few of you have commented correctly, the short current is actually not relevant for this whole test. Because even if you have only, let me show you that. So in these solar panels, all these cells here, these squares are cells. They are all in series connection because they have only between 0.4 and 0.5 volts each. So in this case we've got 72 cells in a series connection here. I'm serious. It's a series connection. Does that make sense? And each of these cells can deliver 5 amps. So even if all of them wouldn't work and we do a short, we would still have 5 amps if this one cell is the only one working. So that's why the short current measurement is not really relevant. So the short current doesn't tell you actually too much about the performance of a solar panel. So what is it then? Okay, let me show you this. So I was able to crack open this junction box on the back side of the Suntech panel here. Unfortunately 2 of the contacts broke, so I need to solder them back on. And this is all full of this white goo inside here, this stuff. Anyway, we can see we've got 3 diodes in here. 1, 2, 3. And they are soldered to these panels here, to these metal panels, like bus bar situation, whatever. So 3 diodes mean we've got 3 strings of solar cells on this panel. And as you can see, we've got 6 rows, and we've got 12 cells each. And then you can see the bus bar here connecting these together, and then we're connecting these ones together. So this is one string, this row going down, coming over, going back up. This is one string. And then the next 2 is the next string, and the last 2 is the third string. And in between these strings, we've got these diodes. Okay. So this is how it looks like. This big box here is your whole solar panel. And then we've got 3 strings inside, 12 cells each. And each of these strings have a bypass diode connected. And you can only access the negative and the positive on the other side of your panel. And in between, usually this is all not accessible unless you break into the connection box here on the back side of your panel. So these two contacts here, string number 1, string number 2, string number 3. And if you have such an amazing measurement device, you actually have a diode symbol up there. See that blue one? So if you turn on your device and you click on the blue button on this one until the diode symbol shows, there's the diode symbol. So at the moment we're showing OL, so nothing is connected. And to test the diode, it doesn't matter which way you measure around. You should get only a signal in one way. So if we measure that way, for example, there's still OL. So the diode works and is not conducting the current. If we do it the other way around, we will see we've got 0.197. And this is the voltage drop across the diode. Yeah. So this is all perfectly fine. And we can go to the next one. So I measure here and here. There's OL. That's good. So it's blocking in one direction. And the other direction 0.197. Exactly the same. Perfect. And we go to the third one. Measuring this way. There's nothing. OL. Perfect. And the other way around 0.198. So all three diodes seem to work. And what you actually can do is, from the outside, without opening this box, you can measure this exactly the same. So we've got our most positive cable here and the most negative cable of our solar panels. And we hook up our diode tester. And then we see nothing, which is good. So this is in block direction of the diodes. Now we swap the probes around and do the test again. And now we can see 0.578. And this is exactly the 0.19 something we have measured before times 3, because we've got 3 diodes. It measures the voltage drop across all 3 diodes now. So these diodes here are perfectly fine and working. The problem with these diodes is they can have 2 states if they are faulty. They can either have a short, so they are conducting current in both directions, which would mean that this string is not working at all, because the current going through the panel just chooses the path of the lowest resistance, which is this one, if there is a short. Or you can have the other way and the diode blocks in both directions. This would mean the panel works totally normal, but if you have a shading on this string, for example, you will pull down the whole panel, because the resistance of these 12 cells here will be a lot higher and there is no path around your panel. And this is actually very dangerous, because all the other cells in your panel, they keep pushing current through this higher resistant area of your panel, and you can get a hotspot in this area and potentially start a fire. And this is exactly how a fire on your solar system could start. But in this case, all the diodes are totally fine, and I think I don't need to open all the connection boxes now, because I can just measure the voltage drop from the outside cables here and see if we get roughly 0.6 volts across 3 diodes. If one of them would not work, either way, I would have a different result. So, and here comes the problem now. If we assume one of the cells here has a crack, and, well, the crack expands and contracts depending on the temperature, you could have lower or higher resistance in this path. So sometimes it seems to work, sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it works intermittent, sometimes it works just a bit. And the diode may kick in or may not kick in. This is all depending on the circumstances of your panel and the voltage and amps you are pulling. So in case of a total crack of one of the cells, the current should actually use the bypass diode and go to the next string and then the second string. So you're losing 1/3 of your voltage of the whole panel in this case. And again, this depends totally on your circumstances. This could happen at the open circuit voltage. It could also happen at a load. It could also happen at the short current, so when you have maximum load on the panel. We don't know. And we could also deal with multiple cracks in multiple strings, which then again may show different behaviors under different circumstances. So there's a whole lot of problems which could occur with these panels actually. And it's very hard to determine what is going on. So what I think the only thing we can do now is I have to take off these two panels again, which I had already down in my driveway. You have seen the video. I have to correct the junction box and connect both panels again to my MPP charge controller, as I have done before. I've got only a 7-meter lead, so we need to wait until the sun comes out. At the moment we've got shading here on the driveway, but this should be gone in about 2 or 3 hours. And then while these two panels are in series and I have connected them to my charge controller here, I will measure the voltage on these individual strings of each panel. So we can actually measure the voltage of this string, and this string. And potentially we see 2 good strings and 1 bad string, which doesn't deliver all the voltage. And I think there may be a chance we can sort this out and see if we can find the faulty panel. Potentially they're all faulty. And this is not because they are old, but because they haven't been treated correctly. Maybe when they took down the panels to upgrade the system, they didn't care about these panels, you know, they were old, they come off, they wanted to put the new ones on, the bigger ones. And these guys, these installers, they get paid by the job, not by time. So what are they doing? They're cutting all the MC4 connectors because this is quicker than disconnecting them, and they just pile up the panels on the roof and then get them down, potentially drop them into the grass or something, because the installers, they don't take these panels back. They don't want them. They've got containers full of used panels. They don't want more. So they leave all this stuff with the owner and tell them, well, just put it on Gumtree and sell it. And then idiots are buying them. I heard about that. Yeah, and exactly, if you then don't treat them correctly and be a bit careful or something, these micro cracks inside one of the cells or multiple cells could occur. So worst case scenario is we are measuring the same voltage on each of these strings, but they are still not supplying the maximum power of the whole panel. So this could only mean then we have cracks in several cells of this panel, and there is a chance that this has occurred, apart from the panel which was on my roof. Well, at least the chance is smaller, because I was here when they installed the system. They took really care of all the panels, and I took the panel down myself, so I know exactly how I treated this panel. And here with this 10-watt panel I have here, and the MPPT charge controller should actually sense the optimum power voltage and should pull the optimum power current. So this is the voltage and current in the maximum power point. On this panel they call it optimum. And people are still confused about how this all works together. So if you take the voltage 36.2 in the maximum power point and multiply this by the current in the maximum power point, 0.28, you will get 10.136 watts. And this is a 10-watt module. So don't get fooled about the other numbers on here. Use the maximum power point voltage and current to get the maximum power of the panel. And we should see similar behavior here with our solar panel as well. See, we've got a 190-watt panel here, 36.6 volt in the maximum power point, and we've got 5.2 amps in the maximum power point. If you multiply these together, it's roughly 190 watts. So, and if we have another look at the west roof, where we have 3 of the Suntex panels now in series connection, we can see we've got 110 volt, 109 volt coming from the solar panels and 1.5 amps, 245 watts. They are still shading on the roof, totally fine. And this is exactly what we should get. We've got 36.6 volts per panel. We've got 3 panels and they are in series connection, gives us roughly 110 volts in the maximum power point. And we can see exactly the 110 volts here in the solar charge controller. You can see how it goes up and down. It's trying to sense the best perfect power point for this solar panel at the moment. And because they are all shaded, and of course the shading is not consistent, it constantly tracks the maximum power point to get the maximum power out of these panels. But as soon as we get sun on this side of the roof here, we don't see this maximum power point anymore of 100 or 110 volts, because the voltage, as you have seen in the other videos, the voltage actually drops down to 70-80 volts only. And I think this is very suspicious. And I also don't see this on the other roof, on the east roof, where the other solar panels are. They seem to work perfectly fine in the maximum power point, roughly maximum power point. There are a couple of volts different, but you know, the panels get hot during the day and then the voltage drops as well. So we don't drive the panels in the maximum power point. All these numbers on these stickers here on your solar panels, they are all for STC, standard test conditions. And this is 1000 watts per square meter, 25 degrees Celsius. Well, none of these parameters are usually achievable during normal operation. Okay guys, so far this video for today. I hope you learned something. I hope I made things a little bit clear. Please keep commenting. And I'm looking forward to the next video when we actually pull down these panels. I will just wait another couple of hours until we've got full sunshine here. I've got only a 7-meter extension cable from my charge controller to the panels. 7 meters! 7 meters is not enough, right? Hashtag. And then we put the panels in the best condition we can here on the driveway, crack open the junction boxes at the back and measure each cell string of the panels and see if we can find something in these two panels. I don't know, this will be a very interesting test. I'm really looking forward to it. I don't think we've got any problems with the diodes. They are really beefy diodes. I think they are 20 or 25 amp diodes actually, and the panel is supposed to deliver only 5 amps. So they are far, far overrated. And I don't think we've got any trouble with the diodes itself. I think we've got micro cracks or faulty cells in the strings of the solar panel. But we'll find out. Until then, stay charged, stay safe. And we shall see us again in about 2 hours again here in this video. It's tomorrow for you then. Okay. Thanks for all the support here on the channel again. Thanks for all your comments. And of course, thank you very, very much for all your beer donations as well. They are much appreciated. Alright guys, catch you in the next one.